Dutchess County native Theodore Ruggles Timby, affectionately known as Ted, was one of the most unsung child prodigies of his time. At the age of 16, he had already invented a floating dry dock. Some elders of the time retorted his invention as no good in salt water. These same people then took his patent and introduced it in Austria, where they cashed in $4 million for it. This set a precedent for the rest of his 74 years of life, where he lived with very little acknowledgement and died in abject poverty. Some of his other patents included a solar clock, pearl piano, barometer, wind turbine, and most importantly, the revolving turret. This revolving turret should have gone down in history for its direct contribution to the Civil War effort and victory. What exactly was the revolving turret? Think of a turret in a castle with a lookout in all directions, each lookout having an armed guard. This one was an iron revolving turret with cannons inside. The USS Monitor, the ship upon which it was attached, was able to maneuver quite easily, being barely above water. The Monitor was given the name Cheesebox on a Raft due to its appearance. Civil War enthusiasts may have heard of the Battle of Hampton Roads, but what many don't know is that this was one of the first times naval ironclads were used in battle. The battle that ensued on March 8th and 9th of 1862 between the USS Virginia, also known as the Merrimac, and the US Monitor, proved that ironclads were far superior to wooden ships. The Monitor's sole purpose was to protect the ship Minnesota. After 3 hours, neither the Virginia nor the Monitor conquered one another, but rather each celebrated their own victories. The Virginia had successfully destroyed the Cumberland and the Congress, and the Monitor prevented the Virginia from destroying any more wooden ships and blockaded the James River. Feeling rather embarrassed, the Confederates destroyed the Virginia upon its return to harbor. Later on, the Monitor sank from storm damage. It wasn't until 1975 that the Monitor was recovered and is now safely displayed at the Maritime Museum in Newport News, Virginia. What was the significance of the revolving turret in terms of local history? Timby moved to Meridian, New York in 1839 and developed the patent and prototype of the turret here in 1841. The Timby home still stands in the village of Meridian on Bonnabridge Road. Finally, in 1911, 69 years after the invention of the turret, Timby received an honorary posthumous memorial service in Battery Park in Manhattan. This service, funded by a small circle of friends, allowed for his remains to be moved from a public powder vault in Evergreen Cemetery and laid to rest in Oak Hill Cemetery, Washington, D.C.